everybody, it's me as always, your host Gambit896, and I'm back with another review video for you guys. Today I'll be reviewing Animal Man Volume 2, Animal vs. Man. This is written by Jeff Lemire and the artwork is done by Steve Pugh and Timothy Green the second. And this second volume collects Animal Man issues 7 through 11 plus the 0 issue. So the story picks up right after the events of issue 6, which is the end to the first story arc called The Hunt, which is collected in Animal Man Volume 1, The Hunt. Again written by Jeff Lemire, only the artwork in this first story arc is done by Travel Foreman. If you guys are interested in what I think of Animal Man Volume 1, The Hunt, I'll leave a link below in the description to that review video. So anyway, the story starts out and we have Buddy and his family. We have his wife Ellen, his 4-year-old daughter Maxine, his son Cliff, and his mother-in-law Mary, essentially on the run from the Rot, who are basically one of 3 kind of elemental or supernatural forces that all make up the balance of this this world, and the Rot is that of death and decay, and they have thrown the balance out of whack essentially, and the Rot is attempting to consume all life and essentially take over the world. And the reason why they're after Buddy Baker, aka Animal Man, and his family is because both Buddy and his 4-year-old daughter Maxine are avatars of the Red, which is the force which represents all animal life in the world. And we have the polar opposite of the Red, which is the Green, which represents all plant life, which is more focused on in Scott Snyder's Swamp Thing run. So, like I said, the family's on the run, and there's some really great action scenes right from the get-go with Buddy going up against the animals that have been essentially taken over by the Rot, as you can see there. I have to say both Timothy Green and Steve Pugh do a really great job with the artwork in this second volume, but I'll get more into that shortly as this review goes on. We also see some further showing of Maxine's own really creepy and quite horrific own kind of supernatural powers, as she's the current avatar of the Red. And so yeah, that's when we see what happens with Maxine doing one of these action scenes. It's pretty creepy, in all honesty. We then get another really cool fight scene between Buddy and more of the animals that have been taken over by the Rot, as you can see there. And the ending to this second fight scene sends Buddy on a trip, essentially, or a second journey I should say, to the Red, where he meets the character of Shepherd, who is one of the, I guess you could say, caretakers in the kingdom of the Red, shall we say. So he meets the character of Shepherd, and he tells Shepherd, look, I need to go and see the totems, my family's in trouble, the little wing, Maxine, the current avatar, is in trouble, and you know, so he has to go and see the totems. And we also get some really cool information from Shepherd about the balance between the Red, the Green and the Rot, and also more into the exactly how the Red actually works and just how powerful Maxine actually is. We have some really cool guest appearances in the second volume. We have John Constantine of our Justice League Dark hero roster. As you can see, there's Johnny in his typical trench coat clad look and always smoking a cigarette. which I have to admit I always get a fanboy kick out of seeing John Constantine in a comic, as he's one of my favourite DC Vertigo characters, as I've mentioned in many or a few previous videos. We also get some other appearances from some other Justice League Dark members, such as Zatanna and Madame Xanadu, as you can see there. And we also get kind of a well, it's kind of a crossover between Animal Man and Swamp Thing, in the respect that we get the character of Socks, who is a former totem of the Red, and has and left the Red in the previous story arc to essentially to help Buddy protect Maxine. And we have a pretty cool backstory essentially on the last time up until the time in the present where the Rot also became out of control back in 1894, and we meet two of our previous avatars of both the Green and the Red, the characters of Jacob Mullin and Jack Crow, and we get some previous history on these two previous avatars, like I said, and also a showcasing of a time gone by where the Rot also became out of control, as it's doing in this current story arc in Animal Man. Here's a really cool double page spread of some of Timothy Green's artwork, and there's also some really great action scenes towards the end of this flashback with both the Red and the Green essentially teaming up against the Rot, as you can see there and there. Mixed in with all of the action and the really great writing from Jeff Lemire and the artwork from both Steve Pugh and Timothy Green II. We also get some really cool character moments, particularly from Mary, who's, as I said, Buddy's mother-in-law and Ellen's mother and grandfather to both Cliff and Maxine, who comes across as being kind of a bitch, in all honesty, as she kind of blames Buddy for putting his family through such a horrific ordeal. And also Ellen really comes across as kind of the same, in all honesty, but at the same time Ellen is essentially only worried about her children, and Mary is obviously worried about the grandkids and her daughter as well. But like I said, I just couldn't help but feel that the characterizations were perhaps intentionally written to be a little bit sort of off, so you wouldn't be sort of maybe as on board with these characters, perhaps, as we often see things from both Buddy's and Maxine's perspective. We also have a really cool character moment between Ellen and Mary when Cliff disappears from the motel in which Ellen, Maxine and Mary are all staying. So we have a really cool moment of Socks taking on his totem form, which he becomes this really cool, pretty badass looking giant cat, which I thought was really, really cool. We also see that Buddy has made it to the palace of the totems, and he has himself a little chat with the totems, who, just like in the sister title to Jeff Lemire's Animal Man, in Scott Snyder's Swamp Thing, with Alec Holland, aka Swamp Thing, having a conversation with the Parliament of Trees. The totems in this come across as just being complete and total douchebags, and Buddy really essentially puts them in their place and says, look, you're not going to mess about my family anymore, they're in danger, I need your help. And so they reluctantly help Buddy in his quest to get back to his family and rectify the situation that Cliff has unwittingly and unwillingly found himself in with one of the creatures of the rot. Again, here's another really cool example of another fight scene, as you can see there. We also get in the 0 issue at the end, we get the some flashbacks of a previous Animal Man, or a previous avatar of the Red, as you can see there. And we also have our first glimpse at the avatar of the Rot, or the Black as it's otherwise known, which is Anton Arcane, who is a well-known arch enemy of Alec Holland, aka Swamp Thing. Kind of like the way that Lex Luthor is to Superman, essentially. So we get some really cool backstory and information on the Totems of the Red during this time period, before they decided to make themselves a new Animal Man, as you can see there and there. And we also have the origin of how Buddy became Animal Man. There is a slight sort of respectable, I should say, nod and wink to the original origin, which Grant Morrison wrote, I believe, when Animal Man was currently being published by DC Vertigo at the time, where Animal Man essentially got his powers from an alien species who crash landed on Earth, and the result of that was how Buddy got his powers. So there is a respective nod to previous continuity, with Jeff Lemire also putting his own kind of unique spin on it. As you can see there's the Tailors of the Red under the guise of aliens, messing about a bit with Buddy's DNA to give him the powers over the Red. And as you can see, there's Buddy in his costume for the first time. So we get the backstory of that. And in the back we get some character sketches and various other bits and pieces. And we also get a sneak preview of Volume 3, which is Rotworld, the Red Kingdom, as you can see there. And we get a sneak preview of a few pages with the crossover between Animal Man and Swamp Thing with issue number 12. And here's hoping that with Volume 3 they do the same cover for the front cover for Swamp Thing number 12. So these two volumes will essentially join up to make one big poster-like picture, like the single issues for issue 12 of both Animal Man and Swamp Thing did it when they were initially published. So that was pretty cool to get those few pages of a preview of things to come. Once again, the writing by Jeff Lemire in this is really stellar. There's a lot of great character moments, like I said. There's a lot of great action scenes. There's really good artwork from both Timothy Green II and Steve Pugh. If you ask me which style I personally prefer out of preference, I'd have to say Steve Pugh. Not to say that Timothy Green II does a bad job, but like I said, just from a personal preference, I do prefer Steve Pugh's art style. if you haven't read Animal Man and you're interested in reading about the character under the DC New 52, which I forgot to mention, this series is published by by DC Comics as part of their New 52, then I definitely think you should check out this series of Animal Man by Jeff Lemire. Or if you're a fan of Jeff Lemire's writing from his work on Sweet Tooth, Justice League Dark, The Nobody, The Underwater Welder, I believe it's called, which is another book that he's famous for. I definitely think that Animal Man is definitely a series you should look into. If I had to give this second volume a rating, I give it an absolute 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I definitely think it's worth picking up. As I said just now, I'll leave a link to my review of Animal Man Volume 1 The Hunt in the description. So if you guys haven't checked out that review video, there'll be a link in the description. And that about concludes this review video, guys. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. As always, feel free to leave a comment below in the comment section. And if you're new to my channel and this is your first time viewing one of my videos and you'd like to see more, please feel free to click the button which says subscribe down there. And until next time, this is Scambit896 signing off, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, guys.